Well, Maisha Prime News begins now. We've got a lot lined up for you, from politics, business news, and also news from the education sector. You can trust Maisha TV to bring you a comprehensive review of all these. A lot of thanks to you for joining me on a 1-hour journey to a destination that will leave you more educated and also informed on stories making rounds in Kenya and the neighbors. On to our top stories.
Tonight,
Governor Sonko filed a petition that before the Chief Justice, and the Chief Justice herself appointed 3 judges.
IEBC invalidates Sonko's candidacy in Mombasa governor race.
Governor Sonko must be present in Mombasa. He can't be present in Nairobi.
The invalidation of Mr. Sonko's candidacy and revocation of his clearance certificate by IEBC comes barely 3 days after the Supreme Court upheld his impeachment as governor of Nairobi. Also tonight, Unga prices drop. It is a relief for Kenyans. The subsidy, however, will be for a period of 4 weeks and overseen by the Ministry of Agriculture as well as the National Treasury, Cereal Millers Association and Grain Mill Owners Association. Plus, it is a win for Kigame.
Ikiwa jinsi ambavyo mawakili wa IEBC walikuwa wanasema kwamba eti wamekwisha kuprint zile ballot papers za presidency, itakuwa ni jambo la kustaabisha sana.
Court orders IEBC to accept his nomination papers.
Welcome, my name is Rida Chebet Karing. The Kenya Kwanza coalition pitched camp in Nairobi County on Monday, drumming up support for their bottom-up economic model after finalizing their 3-day campaigns in Kiambu County. The second-in-command rallied the residents to come out in large numbers to vote in for the Kenya Kwanza team come August 9th. With just 3 weeks remaining to the general elections, the two leaders, that is ODM leader Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto, have intensified their campaigns, with each holding back-to-back rallies. Chechumba Sharon with more.
Arambe! Arambe!
With barely 3 weeks to the August 9th general election, UDA presidential flag bearer William Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza team toured Nairobi County, popularizing their bottom-up economic model.
Situlisha kubaliana Kanairo ni siti ya mahasra. Tunataka tubadilishe katiba ama uchumi. Situbadilishe uchumi kwanza jameni. Situpange uchumi kwanza.
Ruto blamed President Uhuru Kenyatta and his handshake partner Raila Odinga for the hard economic times being experienced in the country, saying the Azimio la Umoja coalition has nothing to offer Kenyans.
Simulisikia hawa majamaa wakati tuliwaambia wameharibu mpango wa kuzalisha chakula, wakasema eti kuna vita kule Ukraine. Saa hizi vita Ukraine bado inaendelea. Leo wanatuambia ati wanataka kupunguza bei ya unga kwa sababu kuna uchaguzi tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8. Tunawaambia hawa majamaa, please, wajinga waliisha Kenya. Chambo ni ya kuku ambaye anataka kutegwa. Wananchi wamechanuka. Tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8, mufanye musifanye. Tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8, pangeni virago, kwendeni nyumbani.
Alafu wanasema wanataka washukishe bei ya unga kwa mwezi mmoja. Yaani ni chambo, wakifikiri kwa huo mwezi mmoja watamdanganya mupigie watu wakuzimia kura. Sisi hatutaki suluhisho ambazo ni nusu nusu. tunataka suluhisho ambazo ni kudumu, na suluhisho ya kudumu iko na William Samoei Ruto.
Sasa nataka tuambie Rais Uhuru Kenyatta ambaye ni chairman wa Azimio, wacha kudanganya watu na kushukisha bei ya unga peke yake. Shukisha hata bei ya mafuta, shukisha bei ya mchele, shukisha mpaka ya chumvi na ya petroli.
The DP and his brigade also took a swipe on President Uhuru Kenyatta over his decision to support Azimio flag bearer Raila Odinga as his preferred successor.
Sumurudia ile serikali tuliunda na rafiki yangu Uhuru Kenyatta. Si mimi nilisimama na yeye. 2013 nilisimama na yeye. 2017 nilisimama na yeye. Mimi nauliza nyinyi, kitendawili ashasimama na Uhuru Kenyatta mahali popote? Hata ule Martha Karua ashapigia kura Uhuru Kenyatta hata siku moja?
And we are telling our good friend, sisi hatuna shida na Uhuru Kenyatta. Ni rafiki yangu ya zamani, si mnajua? Lakini maneno ya kutulazimisha kitendawili, hiyo tumekataa hiyo sisi.
Ndio mimi nauliza rafiki yangu rais, my friend, Mr. President, wewe wakati ulikuwa unahitaji rafiki wa kusimama na wewe, mimi nilisimama na wewe kama mwanaume. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Nilisimama na yeye, sikusimama na yeye. Mimi namuomba tu rais kitu moja. Na kuomba my friend Mr. President, tafadhali, mimi nilikuwa rafiki yako bwana, nilikusaidia. Wewe simama kando, niwaachie huyu jamaa wa kitendawili nimtembeze, na hao majamaa tumfikishe Bondo.
He urged the locals to embrace his candidature, saying Raila has nothing much to offer to the region.
Mutasikia mtu mwenye hana plan, hana agenda, hana sera, ajui vijana hawa watapata ajira namna gani. Atakuja hapa aseme, vijana TV, vijana tialala, vijana ria. Alafu atiupige kura, alafu aende mwisho ujui ni nini amesema. Kama mtu hana plan, atembee, aende nyumbani. Ama mnasemaje Kanairo? Na mimi nataka niwaambie, mnaweza tu kutushinda mahali mbili. Mnaweza kutushinda kwa mambo ya opinion poll na kwa media coverage. Lakini kwa kura ya wananchi, mahasla mtakutana na wao tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8.
The DP outlined his agenda dealing with the unemployment crisis, value addition, boosting healthcare and infrastructure development.
We have an emergency. We have a crisis of unemployment in the Republic of Kenya. We have developed the Youth Marshall Plan around leather, around textile, agro-processing, value addition, manufacturing, housing, so that we can create enough job opportunities for millions of young people who are out of school, out of college, and today they are stranded because they have no jobs. Alafu watu wengi, watu milioni 15 wameorodheshwa kwa blacklist ya CRB. Kuna watu hapa hawezi kutumia simu zao. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Na ndio tumesema tunaweka bilioni 50 mwaka huu kwa biashara ya hawa watu wa chini. Kama Kenya Kwanza tumesema tunapunguza gharama ya maisha kwa kupunguza gharama ya mbolea kutoka shilingi 6,000 mpaka shilingi 2,000, ndio tuwezeshe kila mkulima azalishe chakula ya kutosha, chakula ifike sokoni kwa bei nafuu, ili kila Mkenya aweze kulisha familia yake na tuondoe aibu ya njaa katika taifa letu la Kenya.
Na ombi langu kwenu ni kwamba tujitayarishe, tujitokeze kwa wingi, kwa sababu tarehe 9 tunataka kura ambayo itapeana ushindi kwa William Samoei Ruto, ule wathabiti, mpaka yule jamaa wa kitandawili ashinde kuenda kotini.
Siku 20 zimebaki, mwanze kuheshimu hao wananchi. Mambo ya kunyanyasa wananchi muache. Ama niaje? Sio hiyo.
Prime News, Maisha Television, I'm Sharon Chepchumba.
Harambee! Harambee!
Kenya Kenyans are set to enjoy reduced maize flour prices after the government introduced a massive subsidy to millers effective Monday, July 18th. In the directive, the Minister of Agriculture directed that all retailers should sell their 2-kilogram packet of flour at 100 shillings, a drop from as high as 230 Kenyan shillings. Bushebi Jr. brings us more details of that story.
The price of maize flour in Kenya will drop from 230 Kenyan shillings to 100 shillings from Monday, July 18th. This is after the government of Kenya subsidized the price of production of the commodity for a period of 4 weeks.
And this will take effect in the next 2 days. Once we do the settlement that is required. No charges will be levied on imported maize that is coming from the East African community and Comesa region and anywhere else that is entering the country.
In the 4 weeks, the Ministry of Agriculture will pay part of the cost of producing unga so as to cushion Kenyans from the effect of rise in the price of the commodity. As a result of the subsidy, unga will retail as follows: 50 kilograms at 2,250 shillings, 10 kg at 440 shillings, 5 kg at 250 shillings, 2 kg at 100 shillings, 1 kg at 52 shillings, and 500 grams at 30 shillings.
This measure is intended to reduce the costs of maize that is coming into the country and therefore impact on the price of maize and unga that is increasing in our retailing points across the country. And I've said this is in addition to a measure we have already authorized millers to import maize from which is duty free, because duty on maize from the rest of the world also contribute to the high cost of maize.
Ministry of Agriculture will further deploy a team to conduct market surveillance and ensure that the commodity is sold at the recommended price. The recent subsidy follows one that would see the price of the commodity reduced by 2 shillings after government's bid to suspend the levies on imported maize. On June 28th, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya announced that the government will issue a directive suspending the levies that will lower the price of flour.
After lengthy meeting and discussion, we have decided that we will suspend all levies and charges imposed on maize imported into the country. And I have information that some of that maize will be arriving in the next 30 days and more will come. That will also help us address the cost of animal feed. But in addition to that, we will also suspend any levy that is, or charge that is levied on raw materials that are used for processing animal feed. Because the crisis we have is not just food for humans. We also have a crisis for food for animals. Given the drought situation we are facing, and it's a lengthy one, that is also has been affecting our animals and has pushed the prices of animal feed to levels that are difficult for consumers to afford.
Then, the United Grain Millers Association UGMA, an umbrella organization for both small and large-scale millers, said the move is insignificant and will have little impact on consumers. For Maisha Prime, Maisha Television.
The High Court in Nairobi has ordered the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC) to give Reuben Kigame another chance to submit his nomination for the presidential seat in the upcoming general election. According to the High Court ruling, IEBC violated Kigame's rights by locking him out of the presidential contest. Kigame sued the Electoral Commission after he was locked out of the presidency race for failing to meet the requirements. The court agreed with him that some of the requirements from the electoral body were unfair to his rights as a person living with disability. Millicent Luamba reports. Yes,
The High Court has handed presidential hopeful Reuben Kigame a reprieve after it ordered the IEBC to consider his papers for review and approval.
Ushindi hata kwa wale ambao hawana imani, Atheist Association of Kenya na wengine agnostics wote. Ni ushindi hasa kwa Wakenya ambao wamechoka na zile choices ambazo walikuwa wamepewa. Kwa sababu tulikuwa tumefinyiliwa na choices 4 tu, na hasa zile 2 za juu ambazo zimepigiwa debe sana. Kwa hivyo ni ushindi wa wale ambao walikuwa wamesema hawatapiga kura kama siko kwenye ballot. Ninashukuru High Court kwa sababu ya kusustain hiyo ruling kwa upande wangu. Na ninasema hivi.
The court ruled that the IEBC violated Kigame's rights by locking him out of the presidential contest.
Ikiwa jinsi ambavyo mawakili wa IEBC walikuwa wanasema kwamba eti wamekwisha kuprint zile ballot papers za presidency, itakuwa ni jambo la kustaabisha sana, kwa sababu CJ Martha Koome alisema kwamba hadi kesi zote ziamuliwe, na walikuwa wanaharakisha. Sasa itashangaza kwamba wao hawakutii yale mambo yalikuwa yanaendelea kwenye koti. Na pia itaonyesha kwamba kweli walikuwa wameamua kuniacha nje. Ikiwa watasema wamekwisha kuprint, ilikuwa ni njama. Ilikuwa ni kwamba wamepanga
Justice Anthony Mrima has directed the Electoral Commission to consider his papers and the signatures he had collected.
Na nasema hivi, 2017 Justice Maraga na Supreme Court walisema kwamba process ya election ni muhimu kama election yenyewe. Kwa hivyo naomba kwamba IEBC ifuate sheria vizuri na iepushe kurudiwa kwa uchaguzi, kwa sababu wasiponiweka kwenye ballot, uchaguzi utarudiwa. Ni easier ama ni cheaper kuweza kuni-include kuliko kurudia uchaguzi wote. Ni afadhali kuprint ile ballot paper moja kuliko tena kuanza kurudia na kusumbua watu kwenda kupanga foleni. Kwa hivyo ile tunasema rule of thumb, common sense inasema Chebukati na makomishona wake do what is right. And if you don't do this, then I will really know you hate me, and especially persons living with disability, ambayo constitution ina defend. Na ruling ya leo imewaonyesha kwamba mlinibagua, kwamba haikuwa ni dhana yangu. Ni kweli mlinibagua kwa kulingana na ibara ya 54 ya katiba yetu, na vile vile ibara ya 27 na vingine vingi tu. Kwa hivyo huu ni ushindi kwa Wakenya ambao wanataka uongozi wa maadili, uongozi wa utu, uongozi wa maendeleo yanayomlenga mwananchi, na vile vile watu ambao wamechoka na corruption na impunity na madeni. Kwa hivyo ni
However, the court has declined to order IEBC to include Kigame's name on the ballot, saying that will be overstepping its mandate, saying that it is the role of the IEBC. IEBC lawyer Moses Kipkoge told the court that it is impossible to comply with the court order because IEBC has already printed ballot papers for presidential candidates. For Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, I'm Millicent Luamba.
And moving on, Mike Sonko's registration certificate has been revoked by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC), effectively barring him from running for the Mombasa governor's seat in August. Mombasa County Returning Officer Swala Ibrahim stated in a letter to Sonko that the new developments were related to a Supreme Court ruling that upheld the former governor's impeachment. According to the IEBC, a person may be disqualified from running for office if they are found guilty of abuse of office or have violated Chapter 6 of the Kenya Constitution. On Monday, he claimed that the decision was delivered too quickly and that the court did not give him enough time to respond appropriately. Sonko also filed a separate petition with the East African Court of Justice, claiming that the Supreme Court decision appeared predetermined.
Governor Sonko filed a petition that before the Chief Justice, and the Chief Justice herself appointed 3 judges to sit in Mombasa and hear the matter. On the same date that the matter was proceeding in Mombasa, the same date the Supreme Court was proceeding with the Governor Sonko's matter. The lawyers who then were on record with us wrote a letter to the Chief Justice and to the Supreme Court indicating that you know very well you have allocated us this matter to proceed in Mombasa. We cannot be available in Nairobi at the same time. Governor Sonko must be present in Mombasa. He can't be present in Nairobi. That was ignored.
Well, and police in Nakuru recovered a cache of military items, including combat uniforms from rented house in Pangani area. A tip-off from members of the public led to the recovery. KDF have been lobbied in the investigations to establish how the items left the barracks and the persons involved. Let's have a look.
Tuko na list. Tumechukua inventory. Inaitwa inventory. Tumechukua inventory yote na tutacontact agencies kama watu wa jeshi, tutawacontact tujue kama wanaweza kuzitambua ni zao, maana pia kwa defense tunakuwa na uniform tofauti. Kwa sasa hao peke yake ndio wataweza kutuhakikishia kwamba either ni zao ama sio zao, na pengine pia waanzishe uchunguzi jinsi zilivyoweza kutoka kule. Sasa tunafuatilia. Unajua hapa ni mahali kuna organized kind of a crime setup. Mtu mmoja anaweza kuwa na wengi. Kwa hivyo tukipata jambo moja litatupeleka kwa lingine. Hivyo pole. Tukipata huyu atatuelekeza pale. It's about investigation.
Orange Democratic Movement Party Chair John Mbadi has challenged the UDA team to explain the source of their campaign funding. The Suba North Member of Parliament, while responding to earlier verbal attacks launched by the Deputy President against Azimio presidential team regarding campaign fund sources, Mbadi refuted the claims as far-fetched propaganda, saying the campaign funds are from well-wishers.
Do their business, clean business, and have employed thousands and thousands of Kenyan youth. But the reason why they are supporting Raila Odinga is because Raila Odinga is good for business. Raila Odinga is not corrupt.
All right, let's take a short commercial break. More news coming up. Stay tuned.
A strong woman knows she has strength enough for the journey. But a woman of strength knows it is in the journey where she will become strong. Join Irene Mumbo Bushebi and Rida Kering on Prime Women Talk every Wednesday from 8 p.m. exclusive to MTV.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Good evening. Robert Moore
is live at Hammersmith.
Barcelona is live from Damascus.
We're on the doorstep. For Maisha TV.
For Maisha Prime News, Maisha Television.
For Maisha Prime News, Maisha Television.
Trusted news, trusted sources, trusted dissemination of information.
protect by all available means our territory.
Parliament must be careful.
Maisha Prime News, Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. Trusted, unbiased, authoritative. The stage is set. The time is now. Credible news. It is Prime News. Only on Maisha TV. Prepare for the beast. Informative, authoritative, unbiased. Welcome to Maisha News.
Engineering jobs can now also be found widely in the computer engineering, software engineering, nanotechnology, mechatronics, and many more.
Engineering tips in association with Bushangala Technical Institute Kakamega. Send an SMS quickly with your name, type of course, KCSE or KCPE min grade, postal or email address, desired intake, phone number and your ID to 0721 2801 80 or 0726 800561. Write to the principal, PO Box 2227 5100 Kakamega. Visit us online on www.bushangalatechnical.ac.ke. Exams are carried out by the Kenya National Examination Council. Bushangala Technical Institute Kakamega, Center of Excellence.
Kwa nini Mr. Wajakoya anazungumza mambo ya mbangi?
Tutabebea bangi. Tutabeba na bangi. Once elected, I'll introduce what I am calling mandatory toxicity and mental aptitude test for all Kenyans aspiring for office.
Mimi nilionea mambo kwa 18. Nilionea kwa 18.
Tafadhali kimya.
Nikatoka mapema nikaenda kwa nyumba nzuri.
Kimya.
Yeye ameionea hapo wakati bao imefungwa.
Martha Wangari Karua.
Kwa roho safi wa Kenya nasema Raila Odinga tosha mara ya 3. Ngoja hapa ndugu yangu.
Huyu kijana ambaye anadanganya nyinyi alisaliwa 1966 Disemba. Mimi 1966 nilikuwa natoka nimemaliza form 4.
Atuli.
Tafadhali kimya. If I would have met the mother, I would have been the father.
A stupid man called Atuli.
Huh?
I have no regret to say he's a stupid man because he is. He's a very foolish person.
Kwa hivyo watu wapige mdomo kwa sababu hiyo ni haki yao, lakini kazi anaye macho anaona, si ni kweli? Si hii ndio kazi? Wenzangu hapa Mihango,
It is a season of seriousness, and only the serious presenters come onto your screen.
Maisha Prime News and Maisha Prime Morning Edition.
My hustle, my story. Maisha Prime Weekend.
Rida Chebet, Millicent Makoha, Brian Gad. Only on Maisha TV. The stage is set. The time is now. Credible news. It is Prime News. Only on Maisha TV. Prepare for the beast. Informative. Authoritative. Unbiased. Welcome to Maisha News.
Welcome back and moving on. Over 1,500 residents of Shinyalu constituency in Kakamega County are suffering from various ailments benefited from a free medical camp held at Ileho Secondary School after a team of medics from across the country volunteered to provide free medical consultation. The initiative was facilitated by the Ministry of Health and senior government officials from Western Province.
One, this place is, the residents are inaccessible to medication, advanced medication, so to speak, and the incidents of illness, broadly defined or explained, are very rampant. So that's why we thought we should have this camp today and tomorrow so that we can reach out to as many patients as possible, those who are unable to access this kind of facility.
Nataka kumshukuru sana madaktari na wale wakubwa hata wametoka Nairobi na George kijana wenyu kwa kushirikiana kwa mipango kama ya leo. Sisi tunajua mambo ya matibabu iko na shida. Si namna hivyo? Lakini leo kila kitu inapatikana hapa na ni sahihi. Kama hawangekuwa hapa, mambo ya macho mungeenda wapi? Sabatia. Na sio ni gharama. Kama ni kutest mambo ya kansa, mungeenda Kakamega.
We want every Kenyan to be able to access quality healthcare services without suffering catastrophic financial expenditure.
And away from that, police in Kakamega County are detaining a 20-year-old woman who allegedly stabbed her brother to death after a confrontation over a mattress went so. According to the family, Oscar Shioso, who is 24 years old, had confiscated a mattress that his sister Margaret was supposed to use, prompting a fight that led to his death. The family added that the siblings have been in a long-standing battle over a relationship between the 24-year-old and a police officer attached to the Shiongo patrol base. Oscar is said to have warned his sister over the relationship, prompting bad blood between the two. The body of the deceased has been moved to the Kakamega County morgue, with the suspect remaining in custody to aid in investigations.
Kasema ati we mama, Oscar amekufa huko nyumbani kama anapanda pikipiki. Nikamwambia amekufa aje? Wewe aende huko nyumbani amekufa. Mimi naenda station. Ndio nilitaramuka kufika hapa kwa gate kwenu nikapata watu wamejaa. Nikapata watu wamejaa kufika hapa nikapata mtoto wangu amelala kwa malasi yenye mnaona hiyo.
And President Uhuru Kenyatta and his Seychelles counterpart Wavel Ramkalawan on Monday signed 10 key bilateral agreements at the State House in Victoria. Uhuru agreed to work together on cooperation in the blue economy sector with an aim to enhance capacity building and exchange of expertise in the governance aspects of the blue economy, as well as bolster the circular economy and collaboration in the aquaculture sector. Other agreements signed were on defense cooperation agreement, mutual legal assistance in criminal, MOUs on tourism development, cooperation in the areas of agriculture, livestock and cooperative sectors. Also sealed was cooperation in the field of sports and promotion of partnership on gender equality and women economic empowerment. Addressing the press after witnessing the signing of the agreements, President Uhuru Kenyatta stated that he had resolved with his host President Ram Kalawan to further cooperate on, among other areas, matters of peace and security, especially on marine security.
We've had the opportunity to resolve that we need to further cooperate on matters peace and security, especially with regard to maritime security. So, ladies and gentlemen, we all know that Seychelles is a leading champion of the blue economy, and we have in that regard agreed to strengthen our collaboration in protecting but also in ensuring sustainable utilization of our ocean resources for the benefit of our two nations and our two peoples.
First of all, we reminded ourselves of the bonds of history and personal friendship that unite our two peoples. Seychellois and Kenyans have known each other like forever. We reaffirmed the long-standing, multifaceted partnership between Seychelles and Kenya. Kenya and Seychelles had substantial bilateral cooperation in fields such as education, health, trade, agriculture, civil aviation, as well as strong people-to-people ties, even before the establishment of diplomatic relations.
The fall of British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is one of the ages, a dramatic match for his personal charisma and the daring he showed in supporting Brexit that brought him to power. Brian Gard brings us the feature Rise and Fall of Boris Johnson.
The life of a prime minister is full of twists, turns and turbulence, but it is always toughest at the end. After all, most political careers end in failure. The United Kingdom has been very exemplary in demonstrating responsibility among themselves. To my surprise, it plays so differently for Kenyan politicians.
Na mimi nataka niwaambie itakuwa ni jambo ya uoga na aibu kubwa kama mimi nitatoroka kwa sababu ya changamoto ama matatizo yaliyoko, na ilihali mimi nimechaguliwa ili nitatue matatizo ya wananchi.
It is clearly now the will of the Parliamentary Conservative Party that there should be a new leader of that party and therefore a new Prime Minister.
Boris Johnson stepped down as the UK Prime Minister, unable to overcome a string of scandals around unlawful parties during the pandemic and broader questions about his integrity. In less than 3 years, he has gone from this to this.
Apologies to everybody for the misjudgments that I've made, that we may have made.
Johnson enjoyed a steady rise from journalist to London mayor to prime minister, despite gaffes that sometimes led to accusations of racism, sexism and spreading misinformation.
I'm sorry for the offence that I have caused, but I will continue to speak as directly as I can.
Johnson was once considered to be the golden boy of the Conservative Party. So, how did he climb so high, and why did this partnership fall apart? To answer that question, we need to understand what sort of politician Boris Johnson is, which means going right back to the start.
What are you not ashamed of, though, Boris?
Whatever there is not to be ashamed of.
Back when he was a political columnist in the 90s, Johnson's early appearance on the BBC satirical current affairs show Have I Got News For You brought him national recognition and endeared him to the British public.
Congratulate you all in turning up in such fantastic numbers to this rally. It's really fantastic.
His celebrity status made him one of the most recognizable politicians in the United Kingdom. This helped him get elected to the parliament in 2001, and 7 years later, he became the first Conservative to win the race of mayor in London.
I know that there will be many whose pencils hovered for an instant before putting their X in my box.
As mayor, he found success focusing on issues such as crime and public transport. He also revered in promoting the London 2012 Olympics, including the infamous moments he got stuck on a zip wire. But Johnson had loftier ambitions.
We should take the chance now, as a country, to take back control. Take back control, take back control, take back the democratic control.
In 2016, Johnson was back in Parliament and surprised many by going against the leader of his own party by backing Brexit.
I will be advocating vote leave.
Brexit is an abbreviation used to denote the exit of Britain from the European Union, but we will get to that in a second. He quickly became a leading voice in the United Kingdom to leave the European Union, which then won.
The British people have spoken, and the answer is we're out.
The Brexit referendum, with the following negotiations with the EU, ended the careers of two Conservative prime ministers. It paved the way for Johnson to take power.
There will be people around the place who will question the wisdom of your decision.
In October 2019, he called a general election and led the Conservatives in the biggest victory since 1987, allowing the swift passage in December of his divorce deal with the EU.
I think Boris will get the Brexit done, and people will not regret Boris being the next our new Prime Minister.
Johnson, though, would not be able to bask in his electoral victory for long.
The number of cases of COVID-19 outside China has increased 13-fold.
It's now a global pandemic.
In 2020, Johnson was faced with leading the country through the coronavirus pandemic, which has so far caused the deaths of more than 180,000 people in the UK. The Prime Minister was criticised for not acting quickly enough to prevent the spread of the virus and not taking it seriously from the start.
I was at a hospital the other night where I think there were actually a few coronavirus patients, and I shook hands with everybody.
At the end of March, Johnson announced that he had mild symptoms of the virus.
I've taken a test that has come out positive,
and was hospitalized just over a week later. He spent 7 nights in the hospital, including 3 in the intensive care unit.
The pandemic in some ways played both to Johnson's great strength and his great weakness. The great strength was that he's an excellent communicator, and he really managed to rally the country behind him and also pushed a very successful vaccine program. The downfall was that he is a natural libertarian and is known for being somewhat indecisive, and so Britain sadly suffered one of the highest death tolls in Europe from the disease, in part because Mr. Johnson was very reticent to lock the country down.
Johnson faced backlash when he admitted to attending a party in Downing Street during a period when people could only meet one other person outside to prevent the spread of coronavirus.
Mr. Speaker, I want to apologise. I believed implicitly that this was a work event.
Some Conservative lawmakers defended Johnson, but many people across the country who had abided by the strict lockdown rules felt betrayed by the Prime Minister.
I don't trust him anymore. I'm sorry.
Neither do I, no. There's no trust.
I think it's an absolute disgrace, to be quite honest with you.
At this point, I think he's kind of lost his credibility as Prime Minister.
A police investigation into the events resulted in the Prime Minister's being fined, though he resisted demands to resign.
I've paid the fine, and I once again offer a full apology.
The revelation proves to be the beginning of the end for Johnson. In June, he was booed by a crowd for a special Jubilee service for Thanksgiving for the Queen. And only a few days after that, he was a subject to vote of no confidence by his own party. He survived what was badly bruised. Around a third of Conservative lawmakers voted against him.
It's a good result.
I certainly think it is, because don't forget that when I first stood to be leader of the Conservative Party in 2019, I didn't get anything like that much support from my colleagues in Parliament. We're building that.
Meanwhile, Johnson is also accused of mishandling a series of scandals around Conservative lawmakers' misconduct.
I think it was a mistake, and I apologize for it. I think in hindsight it was the wrong thing to do.
And the party lost local and national elections, causing doubts over its popularity with voters. In July, a flurry of cabinet resignations, including the Treasury Chief and Health Secretary, rocked the government.
We have reason to question the truth and integrity of what we've all been told. And at some point, we have to conclude that enough is enough. I believe that point is now.
In the end, Boris Johnson was undone because he was no longer viewed as an electoral asset by MPs, but a liability. And the minute that lawmakers saw that Johnson was no longer likely to win them elections, they jettisoned him.
The former British Finance Minister Rishi Sunak has announced his bid to replace Boris Johnson after leading the Conservative lawmakers in tendering their resignations.
Someone has to grip this moment and make the right decisions. That's why I'm standing to be the next leader of the Conservative Party and your Prime Minister.
Sunak, whose father is a Kenyan, has insisted that he not only sought to succeed Boris as UK Prime Minister, but also as Conservative leader.
I want to lead this country in the right direction. I ran the toughest department in government during the toughest times when we faced the nightmare of COVID.
At the same time, Suella Braverman, whose mother is a Kenyan, has also announced a bid to succeed Boris Johnson as the Prime Minister.
I love this country. My parents came here with absolutely nothing, and it was Britain that gave them hope, security and opportunity, and this country has afforded me incredible opportunities in education and in my career, and I owe a debt of gratitude to this country, and to serve as Prime Minister would be the greatest honour.
Resignation from office can have a deeply moral dimension. Should we choose as Kenyans to make amends to unethical deeds, it is therefore no surprise that those calling for restoration of morality in public affairs should stress the virtue of resigning. Brian Gad, Maisha Television.
Well, thank you so much, Brian Gad, for that segment. And let's take another commercial break. I'll be back with the remaining part of Maisha Prime News.
Inabamba haibambi. Hao jameni, msikubali kuwapatia viti hata kama ni kiti ya kuchunga mbuzi.
If we did snake farming, each venomous snake farmer will earn an average of $6,000.
Nakwambia upuzi ambao uko Kenya ni mwingi sana.
Tumo hatarini ya kuanguka kwa shimo ambayo tukianguka hatutatoka karne hii.
Na nyonga kidogo kanatoka chui.
Mimi sinywi pombe wala sifuti bangi.
Kiona tumekadhirika ni kwa sababu mambo si mazuri.
Naongea na hasira mingi sana. Ngwe.
Wewe kijana, wacha kunijibu, unanijibu kama nani? Ule jamaa kazi yake ni kuropokwa na makasiriko.
Na haki ya Mungu sina mtu. Si mnihurumie.
Usitafute mwingine.
Tuchome tusichome.
tukamatie chini, tusikamatie chini.
Tabu ni mfitini, ni mtu akona ukabila, machungu kwa mwili.
Nakwambia upuzi ambao uko Kenya ni mwingi sana.
Amanda kwa usisteshaka, tarehe 9 asubuhi na mapema. Mwekeni ndani ya wilbaro na mleteni Kilifi, nitakuja nimweshe maji ya nazi atulize mawazo.
Authoritative.
After the expose that has caught the attention of many Kenyans, some have come in to weigh in with their views.
Dependable.
The views of members of the public cannot be taken in vain.
Trusted.
The judicial test about knowing what they know. They look at you and they say, this one is like this.
And definitely love.
Hii ni station imegrow very fast na naipenda sana.
You are advising or you are directing. Number 2, Mr. Speaker.
You are now mixing up issues. Please, let's hold your horses. You know, when they ask the speaker, not everybody is a speaker. So I am following. I'll add in 5 minutes.
We are here to inform.
Kama mwananchi hajachanganyikiwa, anajua tofauti ya MCA na mjumbe, kwani atachanganyikiwa vipi asijue kani ni executive kani ni
on record that there is nobody who is above the law.
Educate.
Being poor does not mean God did not give you a good brain. So money does not buy everything. And let me warn further that there are already people collecting money.
And entertain you 24 hours of the day. And 7 days of the week.
Mombasa is under what we say lock and key.
Maisha TV. Choose it, watch it, and love it.
Alright, you're watching Maisha Prime News. Welcome back, and now let's shift gears to our education segment. Well-trained drivers can make the road safe for everyone. Aside from that, they also make a good value for business and organizations alike. Having up-to-date knowledge on road safety can help prevent the dangers. Having up-to-date knowledge in road safety can help prevent dangers of the road and save the business from damages and liabilities. At Budget Driving School in Bungoma town opposite Cooperative Bank along Moy Street, drivers are taught the best driving practices while on the road and eliminate bad driving habits. The training identifies the poor driving skills of a driver while on the road and introduce the trainee to proper driving skills.
Jina langu naitwa Maisha, nikiwa manager mkuu, mkurugenzi mkuu wa Budget Driving School hapa mjini Bungoma. Nikisema kwamba kwanza kabisa sisi Budget Driving School tunapatikana hapa kaunti ya Bungoma Town Center, ambayo tuko situated opposite Cooperative Bank next New Nyanza Wholesale. Fundisha madereva jinsi wanaweza kuwa madereva wazuri kule barabarani, na tunahakikisha kwamba tumepeana elimu ya kutosha kwa wanafunzi wetu katika kaunti ya Bungoma na katika kaunti jirani kama Kakamega. Kwa hivyo tunahimiza sana wenyeji katika kaunti ya Bungoma kwamba tukiwa hapa mjiunge na sisi, maana changamoto ambazo tulikuwa nazo ziliisha. Tulikuwa na issues na NTSA, lakini NTSA tunashukuru Mungu waliitikia mwito wakatusaidia, Kwa hivyo tunaendelea salama.
Budget Driving School has a well-equipped NTSA-approved instructors who focus on impacting students with the right skills and experiences that the industry is waiting for.
Shule hii iko na walimu ambao wamehitimu na wako well equipped with skills and knowledge to keep learners with the knowledge and skills on how they can be a competent drivers on our roads in Kenya.
Imejisatiti vya kutosha kwa upande wa kufunza wanafunzi, kuwapa ujuzi kwa kuendesha magari kupitia kwa theory na practical. Tukisema kwa upande wa theory, kwa mfano hapo itakuwa ni kuwaelimisha kuhusu kufata sheria za traffic wakiwa kwa barabara.
The students have expressed their joy and satisfaction of being part of Budget Driving School, admitting it offers quality services, sending their appreciations to the school management.
Na mimi ni mwanafunzi hapa Budget Driving School, na kwa kweli Budget Driving School ni the best school in town, in County Bungoma. Alafu iko na walimu waliobobea katika hiyo nyanja. Kwa hivyo watu wote ambao wako nje na wanafunzi ambao wanatamani kujua mambo na gari, ningewahimiza wakuje Budget Driving School, sababu iko na mafunzo mazuri na inatoa madereva ambao ni shupavu katika barabara. Ili nivutia na ninaona madereva ambao wamepitia katika hii shule, ambapo niko na cousins, marafiki, so nikavutiwa kuja driving school ya Budget.
So unatarajia nini baada ya kumaliza kozi yako?
Baada ya kumaliza kozi yangu ninatarajia kuwa dereva shupavu kwenye barabara na kulinda maslahi ya wananchi na watumiaji wa barabara.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Salome Neli Lusweti. Niko Budget Driving School, nasomea kuendesha gari. Budget Driving School ndo the best driving school hapa Bungoma County compared na hizi shule zingine. Na hata ukitembea huku hivi nje, Budget iko na sifa nzuri kushinda hizi shule zingine. Alafu ladies, hata ukiingia class utapata ladies si wengi. So wale ladies wako nyumbani, kama at least uko na free time, wale wamemaliza form 4, wale wamemaliza college, na wahimiza mkuje mjoin, at least mjue kuendesha gari. Driving Budget Driving School iko sawa, walimu wako sawa kabisa, hasa magari ni ya kutosha. Napenda magari, so vile nilikuwa napenda magari na sijui kuendesha gari, so nikasema at least nikuje nijifunze, nijue. At least ukipenda kitu na lazima uko unajua unaifanya aje. Wale mademo wanataka kujoin driving school, mimi nawakaribisha Budget. Budget ndio the best Bungoma County, na hata walimu ni wazuri.
Mr. Nashon Muhatia, the school manager, has called on residents of Bungoma and other counties to join the school.
And then nataka kuhimiza wote ambao mko kule nje, ambao mnaendelea na biashara, wale ambao walishafanya form 4 universities, tunakaribisha kila mmoja, because we train policemen, we train teachers, we train youth, all of you, we train both of you. So just welcome. Usianza kusema mimi niko kiwango hiki, wote tunawakaribisha katika chuo hiki cha mafundisho ya kuendesha magari, kwa sababu kwako kuwa dereva mzuri lazima ujiunge na sisi na tunakuelekeza. Na sincerely speaking, wale tunafundisha na wale wanatoka hapa wanaenda ukisema kwamba we are the best.
For Maisha Prime Education Segment, Maisha Television, I'm Rida Kering Chebet. And as we still remain on a feature mode, let's have a look at our daily business feature, My Hustle, My Life, My Story.
is something that happens step by step. Growing the nation needs a mind that is dedicated to business, because this is the field that fights for the well-being of the economy. This is the reason why each and every growing mind has a particular space meant for business. On a My Hustle walk in Bungoma town in Bungoma County, we met Lucy, a manager at the Kero Original Hotel and Butchery Lounge.
Mimi naitwa Lucy Karanja. I'm the boss at Kero Original Butchery. Yeah.
Shares out on how they started the business up to date.
Tumekuwa in 2007 tumekuwa Mumias, tukaanzia biashara hapo KCC opposite KCC hapo go down, I think go down. Tumetoka hapo, imekuwa this year January tukakuja East Street ya Ukwala, the former Sakajos, hapo ndio tuko sasa. Tuliona most of the customers wenye tuko nao wanatoka town, na tukasema tumepata at least katikati ya town itakuwa better for them kutumia that transport kuja mpaka huko.
She also outlined some of the services they offer.
Na deal na nyama choma, tuna kuku choma, tuko na nyama boil, tuko na kuku boil, tuko na mboga ya kienyeji yenye inaitwa managu ama sutsa. Pia tuna deal na chai pia na chapati.
Away from the normal functioning, she narrates on some of the challenges they face as a business.
Unaona sasa kama wakati huu penye maisha imekuwa ngumu, gharama ya vitu imepanda juu, tukitumanisha mbuzi imekuwa, hakuna mbuzi zenye tunachinja sisi lower than 5,000, tunachinja mbuzi ya 7,000 kwenda juu, 5,000, 6, 7 kwenda juu. But sahi even hizo mbuzi tunasema tukiongeza bei juu ya customer like nyama choma ama nyama boil, unapata customer wanajaribu at least kutoroka. So it is so tricky, imejaribu at least to maintain customer, ndio tunajaribu kupima kidogo kidogo at least ndio tusiwapoteze, because kila mtu anateta bei iko juu, unajua hapo uta lose customer.
This entered the story into a plea to the county government to provide enough street lights.
Tunaomba, unaona kama place penye niko Sai town, naweza taka ni operate paka late hours, but the problem is hatuna street lights. Kama wanaweza tuwekea hizi street lights, tunaweza appreciate sana.
Lucy advised other business personnel to be patient, as at the end of the day, something must be put on the table.
According to me, hata nilikuwa nasema venye maisha imepanda nifunge, lakini sasa itabidi nitakula wapi? Yeah? Na nalisha watoto kutoka hapo. So ni ile njia ya kuvumilia. We need to be at least to vumilia, because hata imekuwa last week nikatumanisha unga daily 20. I'm giving, nilipeana 20,000 but daily ngapi? 15 haikutosha. So nikafika pale nika-avoid source ya customer. Nikaona customer wanaanza kuteta, hatuwezi kukula hoteli bila sauce. So ni ile tu kuvumilia.
Antonio Sundwa, Maisha Prime, Maisha Television.
Well, folks, much appreciation for staying with Maisha Prime News. We just had the latest news. My name is Rida Chebet Karing. Maisha Prime News comes to you every Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. and 9 a.m. and also on weekends, that is Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.